The EP Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at theeppodcast.com.
Another week of the EP Podcast, and this episode comes out on Election Day. You know it's Election Day, don't you? I see it as the last day that I should have to hear about Election Day. Look, once the voting is over, I want you outside on your front lawn the next day pulling those signs out. I want them all off the street. I'm tired of them. Then we can sit around and wait for days while everybody argues over some vote in some state that we don't live in. It'll all be over soon. Just probably not on Election Day. More important than Election Day may be some of the interviews recently on the EP Podcast. Senator Bill Cunningham was just on the last episode talking about a lot of things that affect Evergreen Park residents. The episode before that was District 231 and 124, a big panel talking about your property taxes. This week we hit the road for the entire episode. First up, Club Pilates on Western Avenue, a brand new spot you may want to check out, as we feature a new business in Evergreen Park. And our monthly check-in with OSF Little Company of Mary happens at OSF Little Company of Mary. November happens to be Hospice Awareness Month. And what I learned is I don't know very much about hospice. And if I learned something, you're probably going to learn something too. It's all brought to you by the First National Bank of Evergreen Park. Our official sponsors want you to know that your child's bright financial future starts with learning good money habits early in life. Help them get ahead with a Junior Savers account from the First National Bank of Evergreen Park. A Junior Savers account has kids earning interest on every dollar they deposit, and they get to watch their money grow. They get a statement sent to them. You can connect it to all of your other accounts with the First National Bank of Evergreen Park. Easy to pay attention to, no minimum deposit because they're kids. Stop in and see the First National Bank of Evergreen Park and the friendly folks there at that iconic building at 95th and Pulaski. Member FDIC. We're headed to the Plaza and a brand new spot called Club Pilates right now. The EP Podcast out at Club Pilates. This is a brand new establishment along Western Avenue. Tony and Jen are hanging out with me, and I love getting out of the studio and checking out new places. As you can tell, this is an absolutely cool place to come and do a workout, I guess is what you would call it. Tony, I'll start with you. You guys just got here. What happened? When did you get here? I didn't even know about it till somebody reached out and told me about it.
Yeah, we started our process in early summer. We obtained the building, and they started rehabbing the whole entire building, and we finally opened up on October 21st, and we've had an amazing response from the community. So, yeah, and here we are.
Got a lot of people in here. Like right before we did this, there was a class going on. And like it's one of those classes, like I've seen different workout classes. This was one where the person's walking around. I think she had one of those little headset mic things, and like she's communicating to everybody, and everybody's in their machines here. I believe these are called reformer machines, and everybody's doing their exercises. And I mean, it's brand spanking new. It's really cool looking. Everybody seemed really happy walking out. It was nothing but smiles from all the women walked out of here afterwards.
Yes, it's really exciting. Everything is brand new. Everything is amazing. We run intro classes daily. Those are 30-minute classes, and you can sign up for those either online or you can call our studio here. If you'd like to sign up, you can sign up either by calling our studio or coming into our studio, but we recommend that you take an intro class first, and that's a free intro for 30 minutes. Our regular classes are 50 minutes long, and our intro is basically a taste of our flow class, and it's 30 minutes long.
All right, well, I'm going to talk to Jen about the whole thing and how this all works, but before I do that, give out the address and how people can reach out to you.
Sure. Our address is 9650 Southwestern Avenue here in Evergreen Park.
Plenty of parking. I saw that when I was there. It's very easy to get here. It's over here in the Plaza area, which is just continues to be a bustling area. Yeah. Jen, you're one of the instructors here. Here they're doing instructor training, so I can be just like you?
Yes, totally. Definitely super exciting. You could be a Pilates instructor starting in February 2024. What's nice, though, is that it is a hybrid program. So part of it is online. So if you wanted to sign up today, you can knock out some of your hours. So that way, by the time the in-person sessions start, you could be, just 2.5 months away from becoming a fully certified Pilates instructor.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about Pilates and the benefit of it, all right? Like, I have friends who are into high impact workouts. I have friends that, diet like crazy or do fast. I have people that are concerned about weight loss or muscle build or tone. If you had to describe the best thing that Pilates and the system is used for, what would it be? Is it weight loss? Is it toning? Is it muscle? Like, what if I come into you and say, I want to do this, what am I going to see results best?
See, that's a hard question to answer because I love Pilates for everything.
You can do all of it.
So you can kind of tap into whatever you want. Maybe you're a runner and you're just looking for something to keep your muscles in shape.
Yeah, I'm not a runner. That's why I would do this, because I hate running.
I said maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, maybe it's like your maintenance day while you're training for a marathon. Or if you're a weightlifter, Pilates is really good at training your transverse abdominis. That's if you've ever lifted or seen someone lifting wearing the weight belt that helps, keep the core in check so you can lift heavier. That's one of the big muscles that we're always training. So if you want to lift heavier in your squats, your deadlifts, whatever it is, Pilates is a great fit.
This would make sense for me because I just recently, last year, it hurt my back. And I went to a physical therapist. And one of the things we were learning is like doing the whole thing where you're kind of like using the core muscles that are in your body to lift so that I can do it. And now all of a sudden, like, I went from somebody who couldn't lift anything to I'm deadlifting, all the weight that I possibly want to do. And this, you're telling me, would almost train my muscles to do that easier, because I still feel like I have to think about it before I do it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I actually spent the last several months working in a physical therapy clinic. I would say that a solid 95% of the things that were being done as exercises in the PT clinic were Pilates exercises. Now, maybe they had a different name, but very similar. So that said, like, if maybe you've gone and saw your medical professional and you maybe saw a PT, you went to a couple sessions and now you're looking for something to build on the progress that you made, this is a really great place to be because you're with people that are trained in anatomy and know the body and can help you recover.
Right, but I want to be skinny too, and I want to be buff, and I'm 47. I got to keep myself in shape out there. It's a jungle. So, like, you're telling me I can do all of that. Is the machine that does it? Is it these pulleys? I mean, some of this looks like a torture chamber to me, to be honest with you.
So I mean, a little bit of everything. So Pilates, if you look at the reformer, there's springs attached to it. So it is resistance training. Similar, we're doing bicep curls on there, but we're also doing things that are focusing on lengthening and stretching and increasing your mobility. If you are looking kind of like you're into weightlifting and you still want to feel like you're working your muscles, definitely this is a great place to be. You're going to feel your muscles shaking by the end. You could do everything with Pilates, so that's kind of what's the most fun. And like you said, if you're looking to get a little bit more fit, maybe you've got some event coming up and you're just hoping to get in better shape, we do have cardio-inspired classes as well to get the heart rate up more and burn some more calories if that's what you're into.
So the question I have for you is, I came in here, you had a nice class in here. It was all ladies. Do guys come in and do Pilates? Is that something that, like, you got to get the message out? Like, hey, guys, there's a benefit to this for you as well.
Yeah, guys definitely do Pilates and guys definitely love Pilates. If you look on social media now, especially look at NFL players. NFL players are all doing Pilates. How do you think, I'm not very good at my football positions, but like a wide receiver, they have to reach back for that catch.
I love that. So I love you were like, I'm not sure what they call that guy that catches the ball, but I'm going to take
soccer,
You did a good job. It's a wide receiver.
Back extension.
Right.
I know if you've ever seen a picture of Cristiano Ronaldo, he has like shredded abs and he's 40 years old.
Yeah.
He does Pilates and he will post it on his Instagram story every now and then. So it's definitely something that these men that are in the top of their field in their sports, they're definitely doing it. And we have plenty of men that come in here too. So definitely a place for everyone.
Is it safe to say, because I'm a wimp, as I told you, I don't like to run. I don't like the high impact stuff. I'm not a fan of it. This is something for somebody like me, if I want to see more tone, lose a little weight, have more, be a little bit more put together as I get older. This would be the kind of thing I would do if I hate those kind of things.
Yes, definitely. I would say our flow classes, which are more like traditional to contemporary leaning Pilates classes, those are super great because there's a huge emphasis on the mind to muscle connection. So not only are you getting a great workout, but a lot of people, I mean, you said it yourself, everybody was leaving here like happy, laughing, smiling.
Yes, it was like, you would think they had not done a workout. Like they were so excited.
You just feel so re-energized, re-energized, that's the right word, after, because you've just like had some time to like be with yourself and find a moment of peace. And sometimes you're just so busy on focusing on what you're doing and connecting to the body that your mind kind of shuts down. So all of those worries that you had, you can take them away for 50 minutes and just find your spot and find your peace in class.
Listen, Jen, this place is really cool. You're an instructor, so I would imagine you've been in other Pilates places. Like, what makes this place different? Because I know that it looks different from any place I've ever walked into. You enjoy working here? Are you seeing this as like, this is kind of a cool spot and something unique?
Definitely a cool spot. So it is group fitness Pilates. There's 12 reformers. If you're interested in private training, we do offer that as well. Although definitely I would say most members by far participate in our group classes. What's also different than other Pilates studios is that some of our classes are a fusion of other things. So we have classes where you're getting a little bit more cardio in. We have classes where maybe you're using TRX bands and you're a little bit more suspended in the air. Kind of think more like you're doing pull-ups, rows, that kind of thing. So you're more like traditional movements in terms of exercise. We also have, if you're looking to just like kind of release the muscles, a little massage, we have that as well. So really anything you can think of, we've got a little mix of that.
Awesome. Club Pilates, it's over on Western. You heard the address earlier on. It's a podcast, so you get to go back and pick it up. And so thank you so much, of course, and make sure you thank Tony for me. She had to run back up to the front desk. And again, the place is neat. It was funny when I walked in here. The big concern was, because some people might watch this on the YouTube channel, the big concern was, is it too dark in here? Because it's kind of got like a mood, right? Like, I mean, you got some neon, and I was like, I record in a bar. These cameras will be perfectly fine. So this place is chill. It's cool, and I thank you so much for having us over.
Thank you so much. Hope everyone comes in soon.
Building relationships, supporting the community, and service. These are the things that Country Financial stands for. They're more than just an office you may pass by as you drive through Evergreen Park. They're neighbors who lend a helping hand and support the fabric of your community, including charitable organizations, sports, financial education, and civic organizations. And since Country is already your neighbor, they want to get together and chat. Call your local Country Financial representative, Mike Thauer, today at 708-425-1559 to talk about the things that are important to you and how he can help you protect them. It's now time for your repeat podcast, Word on the Street, brought to you by Spoken Vine Wine Bar and Bottle Shop, northeast corner of 95th and Kedzie. Small plates, shareables, really good food. You've seen it when we do the videos on YouTube, when we have Frank Murray on from the Evergreen Park Public Library. There's a new video up right now. Check out that tiramisu. Find a wine you like, and there's so many of them to try. Bring it home from the Bottle Shop. 21 and over to get in. See more at SpokenVineWines.com. And a quick reminder that the Evergreen Park Public Library is taking drop-offs through November the 20th at the Children's Services Desk for the non-perishable food drive that benefits the Evergreen Park Village Pantry. Get those in, and you can go right now to evergreenparklibrary.org and sign up to support the Library Foundation with a $50 donation, and you get a 20-minute portrait session. Holiday Portraits is back. Get your time slot now. Give them a call at 708-422-8522. Meanwhile, I mentioned today is Election Day, the day this episode comes out, Tuesday, November the 5th. If you're listening on a different day, because we're on demand, you don't have to listen every Tuesday. Who knows if you have a winner by now? You might not. But if you are listening on Tuesday, remember you can find where you need to go and vote, where your polling place is. Just go to cookcountyclerk.il.gov/elections. The Village of Evergreen Park is still looking for a Meals on Wheels driver. It's a part-time position. Go to the Village website for more information. The Office of Citizen Services is having a senior council luncheon on November the 21st. Mark your calendar. Kicks off at 11 a.m. Guest speaker, catered lunch, entertainment. The entertainment going to be provided by Amazing Mike. The guest speaker, Jackie Moline, will talk about Honor Flight Chicago, and lunch will be roasted chicken. Tickets are $10. Purchase at the Office of Citizen Services by November the 18th. And remember, Sunday, November the 17th, 11:30 a.m. until 3:30 in the afternoon, Evergreen Park Community High School Scholarship Fundraiser is happening over at 115 Bourbon Street. $40 in advance, $45 at the door. Buffet, select beverages, and desserts included. Raffle baskets, split the pot, football squares. If you want tickets or more information, call Steve, 708-542-7330. And now another one of our visits. Every month we sit down with OSF Little Company of Mary and we learn something new about your health. This time around, we're tackling a subject that had me a little nervous, but I'm going to tell you something. I learned a lot about hospice, and I think it's worth the listen right here on the EP Podcast. We are on a field trip today, the EP Podcast, out at Little Company of Mary, OSF Little Company of Mary over at 95th in California. They've invited me over here to the campus, an easy campus to get around, to be honest with you. I've been to other hospitals. It's hard for me to kind of find things. I just pulled up in the East Lot over on 95th in California. There was a friendly security guard standing out there pointing me to the right door, and I found these two lovely ladies here who are going to talk about a subject matter that is generally not comedy gold. So I don't know what we're going to get out of this interview, but we'll try to make it entertaining. Diane Williams is sitting here towards the end of the table, and Sheila Chernick is right here in between the two of us. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good. So this medical thing that we're covering, we try to do something every month with Little Company of Mary. You guys are a great partner in that. I did not know that November was a hospice awareness month, and so we're going to talk a little bit about that because I'm not that aware of exactly what it is. I've been fortunate enough in my life, both my parents are here, so I was never the primary decision maker when something like this had to happen. I've had family members go into hospice, but generally I just looked at it as, okay, that's it. Once they're in the hospice, I'm like, okay, that's it. We're on a waiting list. You feel really sad. I don't know exactly how it goes. I don't think I've ever visited somebody in hospice. So can you kind of start off by telling me and anybody else that maybe doesn't understand it, what misconceptions do people have about it? What do people not understand about hospice care that you wish they did understand?
So many people think hospice is about giving up hope, that it's only for patients that have cancer. Those are just a couple. But really hospice is about living your fullest life. And to be eligible for hospice, the physician, your physician, and our hospice medical director would have to look at your prognosis and determine if you're 6 months or less to qualify for hospice.
So in the end, if somebody's coming to you, it's 6 months or less.
Yes.
That's where it is.
Yep.
Now, if let's say they beat the odds, they make it more than 6 months, you kick them out? Like what happens? No?
No.
All right. If you had people show up and it's like, okay, you got 6 months, the guy's walking around 2 years later and you're like, oh my, somebody was wrong here, right?
People do graduate off hospice.
People survive and leave hospice.
Yeah. So this is what I typically tell my patients, because really it's about showing that decline. And so we have to reassess the patient to see if they still meet that criteria to be eligible to be on hospice. So a lot of times they may be less than 6 months. They could be a year, 2 years, and sometimes we graduate, so we celebrate them, and they may be off of hospice for some time because they're stable. And then when they're ready to come back in to that hospice program and they are showing that decline, then we would readmit them to hospice and walk that journey with them.
I would imagine one of the bigger things that people wrestle with, and I'm sure you deal with, is the idea that, okay, I love this person. This person is having a rough time. And you get family that hesitates to send them in the hospice because it feels like they're giving up, right? Mm-hmm. Like they're saying goodbye, and they don't want to do that, and there's almost like a guilt, like, oh, we're sending. Do we really do this? Is this what we do? I'm sure you run into that. But it's not you're not actually giving up. I think you were telling me beforehand that it's more about trying to make them comfortable. It's not like, okay, drop them off at the door and never see them again, right?
Right. And a lot of the conversation is around, have you had a conversation with your loved one? And what are their wishes? Do they want to spend their last days in and out of the hospital, or would they rather spend it in their own home, in their own environment, surrounded by their loved ones? So it's really having that conversation and being able to carry out your family's or your loved one's wishes.
Do you ever get somebody who instead, like they're going in there and they look at you and they go, yeah, but I just want them to put me on a boat and just push me out there? Because that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Just put me on a boat and push me out there. And whatever happens, happens. I don't want to be a problem. Put me on a boat, float me out somewhere into the water. I'll be one with the sea. Later on, they'll just find the raft floating there. It's over. Like, that's where I'm a little nuts though. So, but do you run into people that are crazy like me?
Well, yeah, kind of, but what they say is that they just want to, if they're able to, we want to honor whatever wishes they want. So, like, say somebody wants to go to the casino. The glory of hospice is that you don't have to be homebound. You can still live out your final wishes.
I can be on hospice and go to the casino?
Yes. Absolutely. You want to go?
Have ice.
You can what? I can what?
You can go have ice cream. You can go get your hair done.
You can go.
So you're not just sitting in a room.
No.
Like, I think that's what my perception of hospice is. Like, you drop them off, they're in a room. There's a little thing that's going beep, beep, or somebody walks by every 15 minutes and knocks on the door and says, Mrs. Robinson, are you still alive? And then that's it? Like, it's not like that.
Most of the time, hospice is done in that person's home.
Okay.
So whether it's their long-term home, a family member's home, their child's home, it's predominantly done at home. The only time it's done outside the home is when they don't have the love or support from the family, because the family just has other things going on in their day-to-day and they cannot be there 24/7. So primarily in the home, it is a care, like the loved ones that are providing that primary care, and we're there to help offset with medication, nursing, home care aides, chaplains, social workers, and that's how we offset their care.
It's a support, essentially what it is. It's not a drop them off. It's a support type system. Yeah. Is there something that you guys do different, unique? Are all of them the same? How does Little Company and Mary approach it?
So hospice has an interdisciplinary team, so all hospices do, where it's the patient, the family. We have a hospice medical director that oversees the care of the patient. And then we have, of course, our nurses, chaplains, like Diane said, social workers. We have volunteers. So volunteers can come and sit with your loved one, play cards, read to them, talk to them. And then, of course, the home care aides. And the home setting is wherever that patient resides. So it could be in a nursing facility or in their home environment, like Diane said, either in their own home or with family members. But really what sets us apart is our patient experience, and I'll let Diane speak to this.
So we recently just received an award for
most money won in the casino.
I wish. I don't know that I'd be here, but we had received, for 2023, we received the top 5% in the nation under our SHIP, which is our surveyor that goes out, and then the patients and not the patient, but the family members, the caregivers, fill these surveys out in response to how they receive the care, meaning that we ranked in the top 5% in the nation. In Olive, Illinois, there was only 4 agencies in Illinois that ranked in the top 5%, and
you were one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So you're one of the ones that is getting the most recognition for at least customer satisfaction, I guess is the best way to say it. It's an odd thing because in the middle of all of that, what they're going through, and of course the patient is passed by the time you're probably handing out the survey, so they don't write anything, but their family members see what has been done. They've communicated with their loved one, and you guys are getting a response back that said you did a good job with them, and you're ranked up pretty high.
Yep. We are on track to hit it for the 2024 as well, as we had like 97.6 1.76% as well for this past fiscal year. So
That's
I'm super
something-
excited about that.
That's something I would want.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I'm picky when I pick out a couch for the living room. If I'm going to pick out where I'm going to spend my final days and who I'm going to let take care of me, I want somebody that's up on that list.
Absolutely.
That's where I'd be going.
We have a fantastic team. Our nurses, we've had really steady nurses the last couple of years, and home care aides have been there, predated me. Our chaplain, our social worker, they have been there a very long time. They're just phenomenal. They take their time. They listen to the patient and the family and the needs and the wants, and they're just extraordinary.
Now, Little Company of Mary, and correct me if I'm wrong, is a Catholic hospital, correct? I want to say that like every hospital's got some main affiliation that's there. Is there something different that you do at end of life stages that Catholics may find interesting that they might not get someplace else? Or is it all the same?
We care for all patients regardless of their religion, and we will either connect them with their priest if that's what they choose, if they're really connected to a certain parish. But even if you're not Catholic, we'll continue to care for you. Our chaplain is really good at reaching out to whatever parish that you belong to, church, and then we just work with them and walk along their journey of whatever services or religious affiliation that they have.
How do you get into this? I mean, I'm curious, like, because the two of you seem to have been in this program for a while. If you've gotten to the point where you're sitting down and you're talking to me about it, you're obviously very involved in the program. You've been around it for a while. Do you start off as a nurse and then start to see, like, this is something I want to help people at this stage? It feels like there's a void and I can do the most good here?
So I have been in hospice for a long time. I started out taking care of patients in their home. And I kind of came into it because I really wanted that holistic care of meeting the patients where they are, but also to care for them and their families. So it's a different type of care. Hospice is a specialty if you look at it in that sense of just really walking that journey with them, getting to know them, and really trying to meet them where they're at to meet their goals, whether it's to go to the casino or go to a game, make it to their daughter's wedding or granddaughter's wedding. Just many different goals that we've been able to meet with them to live their best life. And hospice is truly about quality. It's about living. So when I think of hospice, I don't think of dying. I think of living every day to your fullest. And so I got into hospice because I've known family that have been in hospice, and then lots of just friends, and just being able to see them live in their own home the way that they want and not in and out of the hospital. I've seen the difference because we have a whole team of support for not only the patient but their families. We also have a bereavement program that is pretty robust, I would say, here at Little Company of Mary, and I don't know if you want to speak to that, but we do follow with the families after their loved one has passed and check in on them. We have a memorial service every year, the Tree of Love, and that's held right here at this hospital. And so it's just a beautiful way to remember those that we've cared for and have their families come back. And it gives us that sense of reconnection as well, I think, to be able to continue to give that love and support.
Diane, I was going to ask you, it's got to take a special mindset to do what you do, right? Everybody that's in this program, because I mean, I've mentioned it before on the show, I spent 10 years doing 911 dispatch, right? You're trying to help people, but there's pain in there. There's bad things that happen. Yep. There's loss that happens, and you have to find a way. You don't want to just say we're compartmentalize it, but also you have to find a way to be compassionate for people, also knowing that it isn't always going to end the way that everybody wants it to go, right, and not carry that. And that's not something everybody in the world can do. So it's commendable what you both do and what the rest of your staff does. But I would imagine that like you have at least that ability to kind of like find the good, not let the bad linger too much because you love the work.
Right. Yeah, 100%. You asked a question earlier about how does one get there?
Yeah.
So, speaking from experience, my mom was diagnosed 12 years ago with cancer. And of course, she was young. She was only 56 years old. You know, she had a lot to live for, yet, you know, she had worked a long time and retired only a couple of years. And of course, she tried, she fought, but those treatments took a lot out on her. And I'll never forget the moment that I sat next to her having our morning coffee like we do on our porch. I couldn't even look her in the eye because I knew what I was about to say was going to hurt internally, and I didn't want it to make my mom feel like I wanted to get her to give up. But I did ask her, what are our next steps here? Because I knew if she stopped the treatment, she was going to pass. But I knew if she continued the treatment, she was going to pass, and it was going to take whatever quality of life we had at that point,
Right.
or she had. At this point in my life, I wasn't even a nurse. So I didn't have that experience, and little did I know that here down the road I would be doing what I'm doing. But it's definitely a calling. And it just comes to a point where no matter how much treatment you do or how many times you go to the doctor, our bodies are going to the disease process is going to take its toll, and eventually we'll be at that point where we have to make some sort of a decision, whether we continue to fight, and that could be till the very end, or we don't say we're giving up, but rather we're shifting the plan of care to comfort and quality focus versus curative and continuing going in and out of the hospital. So that's where, at first when I got into hospice, I was super nervous about it because I didn't really understand it. I mean, I had experienced it, but not really understood it. And I love it. I know, and people think it's so weird, and they'll say to you, like, how can you do that? That's got to be so morbid and so depressing. And I'm like, no, it's amazing because we get to help that person transition into their next life and be whole. You know what I mean? They're in their whole body. The one that was full of life and no disease, and they're comfortable and they're with their previous loved ones. So it is amazing. I feel like I was called to be here. Like, it was what I was supposed to do.
Well, I think both of you are doing a wonderful job, and if somebody wants to talk to you or talk to just Little Company of Mary OSF about your program, how do they do that?
So they can go on to the OSF Healthcare website, or they can call our triage line, and that's 708-229-4663. That will get them to there's options that they can pick, and they can pick, like, I think it's number 4 for a hospice nurse. So they can speak to somebody directly. If they can call in and say, hey, I think my loved one needs hospice, and we can send somebody out and we can have them assessed for their appropriateness for hospice services. I do encourage, though, that patients ourselves, that we make it known to our family what our needs and wants are prior to our family having to make that decision, right? Because we want them to uphold our wishes and not be stuck with the burden of making that when they don't really know what their loved one wish was. So we should all start to have advanced care planning discussions, such as, you know, a healthcare power of attorney. What are my wishes when it comes to where I cannot make those decisions anymore? So I encourage those patients out there,
I'm going on the raft. Or strap me into the parachute. That's what I'm finally going to try, skydiving. You've got 6 months to go. I'm like, we're going skydiving.
My Bob's like, put me in a pine box. I'm like, no, what? You're not doing that.
Let's go do something crazy, like volcano diving. Yeah. Like, let's have some fun at the end. Like, that's what I would do. And that's why they won't let me do anything. I can already see my children will just laugh at me and be like, well, he's crazy. And I'll probably end up with somebody like you. And I'd be fortunate doing it. Heck, you get to go to the casino. That sounds you can
go to the
fun.
Casino. If you like horses, we'll try everything in the hospital to get you to be by a horse in your final moments, whatever it is that you want to live.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Well, Diane, thank you so much. And Sheila, thank you. And I really appreciate you sitting down talking with us.
Of course. Thank you for having us.
It's the EP Podcast. All things Evergreen Park. It's the EP Podcast. Evergreen Park.